So who's going to win Euro 2021? Let's talk about it. Guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. If you'd like to see a bit more Euros content coming out over the next few weeks, do leave a like on today's video and also get your thoughts down below. Who is going to win the Euros? I want to know from you guys. Today I'm going to be giving you guys my predictions for the tournament and also announcing that we are going to be doing a prediction league over on Patreon. The prize for the winner of the prediction league is going to receive an England shirt of their choice, or, you know, if you're a Wales or Scotland fan, we'll sort you out with a Wales or Scotland shirt. I'll leave all the information in the description down below, but to sign up for it, all you need to do is head on over to Patreon, sign up to the £2 a month tier or any of the tiers above that, and then you will be entered into the league. As well as that, you also get some other cool perks which you can check out while you're over on there on the Patreon. You know, you can get exclusive videos, access to the Discord server and that sort of thing. But it's £2, and if you do fancy your chances for winning the prediction league, you will go ahead and win an England shirt. But without any further ado, let's hop into my predictions. Starting out with Group A, as you can see to the side of me, this is what I've gone for in terms of the standings. Now, I can't claim to be someone who watches absolutely every international football match. I've had to do quite a bit of research going into this video so that I can formulate somewhat of a reasonable prediction, and I've got a few facts and that sort of thing to back it up. I do see Italy and Turkey as the strongest two sides coming into this one. Italy have quite a few young and upcoming players. They also have a recognised goal scorer in someone like a Ciro Immobile. I think that will make all the difference in a competition like this. Turkey definitely aren't a side to sleep on, to be honest with you. After I've done a little bit of digging and research into this Turkish side, they are someone who could potentially be a bit of a dark horse and go quite far into this competition. Defensively, they're quite well structured, and Yilmaz is a striker who can score goals for them. And if you look back into some of the games they had in qualifying and things like that, they were in a group with France, of which they beat at one point. Italy and Turkey I see as the two standout performers in this group. Now, when it comes to third and fourth, I don't think there's much in it between Switzerland and Wales, if I'm being honest with you. And I've currently got Wales in fourth place. I could be swayed on that. It really depends what system Wales go with coming into this international tournament. Obviously, there's been a bit of sort of disruption within the Welsh camp with the whole Ryan Giggs situation and things like that. But pound for pound, the Wales have got some decent players. And to be honest with you, they probably got maybe even a better team this time round than they did last time when they went on that amazing run in the Euros. But with Wales, it's very much dependent on me what system they go with. They've been playing with a false nine as of late to sort of varying degrees of success. For me, I think Kiefer Moore needs to start for them. If you've been watching for the channel for a while, you know, over this last year and how well he's been doing for Cardiff, I think Kiefer Moore can make absolutely all the difference for them in this tournament. And if they don't, and if they instead go with that false nine system, I feel like that could end up being a little bit too limiting for them. You know, in the two warm-up matches they've had, they obviously lost against France and then had a goalless draw against Albania. I've just got Switzerland to pip Wales there, but I feel like it'll come down to whatever happens in the outcome between Switzerland and Wales there. That really could go either way. When it comes to Group B, I've gone for probably what is to be expected. I've gone for Belgium to top the group, with Denmark coming in second, Russia in third, and then Finland in fourth. Quite an interesting group. I do see Belgium as comfortably the best side in this group, to be honest with you. Pound for pound with the players they have, I don't really see an upset here. I think they should get through this one without all too many troubles. Denmark in second. They've got a pretty good defensive foundation with Kasper Schmeichel and the back line that they got in front of him. They got some decent options in midfield as well, with likes of Højbjerg, Eriksen and Delaney. And the goals for Denmark, I think, will be fairly well distributed throughout the whole squad. You know, they got the likes of Braithwaite, Poulsen, Dolberg as well. I do see Denmark as the second best team in that group. Russia I've got third, who probably aren't quite that same team that they were in 2018 when they went on and surprised quite a few people actually with how they went and did in the World Cup. And then Finland I've got to finish bottom of that group. There'll be an interesting one to watch with likes of Marcus Forss and Teemu Pukki in that side, but I do see them as the weakest of this group. Group C is quite an interesting one, and I don't think that this one is quite as cut and dry as maybe a few people might potentially think. Listen, coming into this group, Netherlands by far and away have the best lineup for this one. In terms of pound for pound talent coming into this squad, even without Virgil van Dijk, it's still a very good team. And after missing out on the last two major competitions, you know, they missed out on the last World Cup and the last Euros, the Netherlands really do have a bit of a point to prove. I fancy Memphis Depay to have a strong competition. However, the one sticking point that I've still got with the Netherlands is Frank de Boer. I'm really not sure about him still. I think his brief spell at Crystal Palace is still etched into the back of my mind, and he has, even while he's been the Netherlands head coach, made a few questionable calls and things like that. So yeah, the Netherlands very much could have a bit of a slip in them. After that, I don't think there's all too much in these last few teams. I've gone for Ukraine in second, which maybe is a bit of a brave call. I think that most people would probably edge Austria for that second place, but Ukraine may be a bit of a team that's been slept on a little bit. I think they've got some quite exciting individuals. Obviously, Shevchenko is the manager there. Austria I've gone for in third place. We saw Austria in one of the warm-up matches against England. They're a side who keep possession fairly well, but when it comes to like decisive moments in the final third, I'm still not completely sold on Austria, and I do have North Macedonia in fourth place, who, I mean, they could be a bit of a surprise package coming into the Euros this time round. You know, it's a great story in itself that they've made it this far, but even in making it to the Euros, they've had some pretty big scalps along the way, and who's to say that they won't do the same in this group here, where there's not all too much in it between those last three sides. When it comes to Group D, I am going for England to top the group. I think that with the talent that we have in our squad here, we shouldn't be making any excuses, and it should be first place. However, there's even, bizarrely enough, because of the way the tournament works out, an argument that finishing in second place could be better for us, because obviously if we top this group, we're going to end up playing whoever finishes second in the group of death, but we'll get to that in just a second. Despite that, I do see England as the strongest of all these teams. Obviously, we've got really quite some interesting matches up here. You know, the game against Scotland is going to be fascinating. The game against Croatia as well for that World Cup last time is also going to be a really interesting meeting. Croatia probably aren't quite that same team that they once were. Maybe there is a suggestion that they're a bit more sort of over the hill than they were last time out, but certainly not a side to be slept on. When it then comes to third place, for me, I've got Scotland and Czech Republic. I mentioned Scotland for that third place. Scotland did do the double over Czech Republic in the Nations League, and I fancy them as the better of the opposition between them, to be honest with you. And obviously third place is quite interesting because you still have the chance to go ahead and qualify even if you do finish in third place, depending on how many points you pick up. So yeah, I'm going to go Scotland third, Czech Republic fourth. For Group E, I'm going for Spain to top it, as will most people, to be honest with you. At the last World Cup, Spain were a little bit all over the place. You know, they lost their manager a few days before the tournament kicked off, didn't they? They had Hierro come in and sort of step in as their interim manager in the time being, and there is the feeling that despite having some key injuries to key players, you know, likes of Carvajal and Sergio Ramos missing the tournament, they're a little bit more settled now with Enrique as their manager. Second place, for me, between Sweden and Poland, I do see Slovakia as the weakest of this group. I'm just edging Sweden, you know. Obviously, for Poland, the player that can make absolutely all the difference is Robert Lewandowski. I'll also be keeping quite a keen eye on the likes of Jozwiak and Helik as well, obviously two championship players. But for Lewandowski to really thrive, he needs to get the service there. And pound for pound, I see Sweden, you know, as a bit more of the complete team here. They're coming off the back of quite a decent World Cup last time as they made the quarterfinals. Their striker, Alexander Isak's coming off the back of a really successful season with Real Sociedad as he scored 17 goals for them. So yeah, I'm just going to edge Sweden over Poland there. And then for Group F, which is of course the group of death, I think most people have gone for this, the way that I've got the group set up. France winning it, Portugal second, Germany third, Hungary fourth. Now, obviously, this has quite the implication on England as well, you know, because should we win the group, we'll go ahead and then play whoever finishes second in this group. Yeah, it's very strong in here. I think most people do see France as the favourites to go ahead and win the overall tournament. I think that two of the favourites are actually in this group, to be honest with you. France and Portugal, I think, will be very strong this time round. After that, we then have to go ahead and predict the fourth best third qualifying teams. The four that I've gone for are Austria, Scotland, Poland and Germany, which would then see Switzerland and Russia missing out. But now let's head into the knockout football, and the way that I've configured all these groups, it would actually lead to some really interesting round of 16 times. First of all, we've got Belgium going up against Germany. Gut feeling between them two. In 2021, I'd have to go for Belgium, if I'm being honest with you. Germany don't really seem to be that side that they once were, and it does feel like there's a bit of a reshuffle going on there. You know, no doubt that Germany will come good again, and you don't really tend to back against them in knockout football. But between those two, I've got Belgium. Italy-Ukraine would be a really interesting matchup. I'd just edge towards Italy, but like I said before, Ukraine could be a bit of a dark horse coming into this one. France versus Austria, pretty straightforward. I think that France do get through that one with relative ease. Croatia against Sweden is a really interesting one as well. Both teams could potentially go a little bit under the radar in this competition. I'm just going to edge towards Croatia, I think, because it would lead to a really interesting tie in the next round. But yeah, not all too much in between them two. Spain up against Scotland. I think I'd have to go with Spain for that one. Sorry, Scotland fans. England up against Portugal. Now, this is where I've got a real problem, because I have a feeling that, and I may be way overhyping England here or something like that, but I mean, Portugal was one side who I really didn't want to come up against early in the competition, because I sort of feel like whoever wins this match has a very good chance of reaching the final. It's just a shame that we've been pitted up against each other so early on into the competition. Honestly, my head says that Portugal probably do this. You know, I'm still not convinced by England's backline, and even Gareth Southgate's tactical nous. You know, no doubt we've got the individuals to get through this one, but are they going to be utilising a system where they're all able to flourish and things like that? I've still got my reservations, but my heart is saying that. I'm going to leave it as England for now, but I'm not all too confident in saying that, to be completely honest with you. Netherlands up against Poland, I'm going to go for Netherlands. Turkey up against Denmark's a really interesting one. Each side have got different strengths about them, and either could be a potential underdog. I'm going to go Denmark in that one, which leads to an interesting tie in the next round. Let's go through now to the quarterfinals. Belgium up against Italy. I think that this is as far as Italy probably get. I do see this one as Belgium. France up against Croatia, repeat of last time's World Cup final. I do see France getting through that one once again. That will put Belgium up against France into the next round. Spain up against England. You see, I would fancy our chances up against Spain more than I would Portugal, to be honest with you. So by my logic that I'm going through at the moment, I'd have England reaching it to the semi-finals. Netherlands up against Denmark is another quite tough one to call, to be honest with you, because like we mentioned before, Netherlands have got a decent team, but I've still got my reservations about Frank de Boer. I feel like, to be honest with you, either Turkey or Denmark would give them a good game in this one. There's always one team that makes it a little bit further than you potentially think, and that could be Denmark, which would give England an interesting game in the semis. Between Belgium and France, I do think it would be France. And then, hey, I've got England against Denmark, which I would then have England progressing through to the final, which would see a France against England final. And I do think that France would win it. France, to be honest with you, are my favourites for the overall thing. I think with the majority of people, they are, to be completely honest with you. That's me predicting it with my heart as well. If I was realistically doing it with my head, I think Portugal might maybe do that. I think Portugal maybe do that. Portugal probably do that. I think France still win it, to be honest with you. But it's that one game, England against Portugal, which I'm just so 50-50 on, to be completely honest with you. But guys, there we have it. That will now wrap it up for today's video. If you did go to enjoy, make sure to leave a like. This sort of thing was obviously just for a bit of fun. But yeah, if you get 350 likes on today's video, that would be massively appreciated. Also, let me know down below if you would like to see more Euros content coming out as the tournament continues to unfold. Check out the Patreon and the Prediction League. Link to that is down below. But without any further ado, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.